Previously on Roleplay Radio.
We need to talk about Winter. It's a map of Red. Hundreds of years ago, it was founded as a tiefling city. And then at some point, humans started showing up, and that was fine. Eventually, it was, roughly half human, half tiefling, perfectly fine. But then, the humans started acting different. Anti-tiefling. Eventually, this escalated to war. And that brings us to Red Hill. Today, where there are very few tieflings, and we're segregated to a separate part of the city. I think what's causing this is actually a Blood Age artifact belonging to either Golwanda or Xandro. Not only is this incredibly dangerous to do, just for the whole excavation thing, I have no idea what's under the city. Both Golwanda and Xandro mummified people, which it must have been done magically because mummification is a very long process and they were at war. You can't really mummify. Anyway, I don't know what to expect under here. It's going to be dangerous no matter what.
I hate to say this, but if I go, am I going to be more of a liability than a help?
At the far end of a hallway, you see a massive hulking beast, or just the tail end of it. Its hind legs and its tail. And then you hear Vonkar once again, very soft-spoken, go, "Bullet. Told you." The two silver trolls look at each other, look back at you guys, and say, "We got it. Y'all head that way. We'll redirect it." So, Mistake, you know that sign says, "Beware, human scum." As you cast Comprehend Languages and you're able to see this. The rest of you just see a sign and skulls. And furthermore, a long hallway. The whispers get louder, Gary, and louder and louder, to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. And what they're telling you is lies. Lies, 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 deceit. This tiefling, you can't trust what she's saying. She probably brought you down here. That's what they do, they trick people. She brought you down here for a purpose. And you can't help it. Part of you starts to believe those voices.
So yeah, basically these two hated each other.
Yeah.
And huge fight happened here. This was a Golwanda area. Xandro's people laid siege to it. Prismari was like, "Fuck all this noise, I'm burying all you motherfuckers," because he hated the war, and this was his solution to it.
And yet we have a tower for him.
Hey,
Well, we have an entire school named after Prismari, and we have dorm towers for Golwanda and also Xandro, I think.
Well, that's why I was saying, because, I would have assumed because, the school has a loyalty to Prismari, that they would not have a tower for Golwanda, but here we are.
Or for Xandro, for that matter.
But we have statues of Confederate
Yeah.
generals.
part of my history!
So,
Arguably you could say, well, they are historical figures that we're just using to name our towers, and
Yeah.
also we teach the history of why they are historical figures, even
Exactly.
if it's not in a good way.
I think it's about idolatry.
I think it might be also sufficiently far in the past that people are okay with naming things Genghis Khan now.
Yep. There's an entire song called Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
all right. We begin today's session underground within the ruins of an abandoned temple, where the party is unveiling a series of events that took place some millennia ago. After a descent of several hundred feet, you came across the top of a church, and you descended that church to discover a boulette holed up in here. The Silver Trove diggers, Vonkar and Vistra, they suggested a split up. They would distract the boulette, try and lead it as far away as they could. The good professor, Mircea Galvan, accompanied them, as well as Phoenix, while the party went on a little exploration, which proved to be quite eventful. Now, last week we ended with Mistake discovering the secret door. It was a drawing/carving of the grand room of a temple with pews and altar, humanoid stick figures surrounding what appeared to be a spherical shape hovering above them. And Mistake had pressed that spherical shape, revealing the hidden door. But we are rewinding time. 5 minutes prior to that, you've reached this dead end After discovering a series of notes and wall art, several traps, and nearly or could have killed you had you guys not outsmarted the DM once more.
So I think maybe we can start with the party is coming into this dead end, and as we like look around the space and realize there's no other exits from here, and we're just looking at basically a mass grave.
Yep.
So I think Costa's just looking around and like, is that it?
Nah, there's gotta be something here. Just touch the walls. Touch the walls!
Okay, I'll touch a wall.
Nothing happens.
Goes around touching walls.
There's gotta be something.
Every brick is set in place. If any bricks are loose and they come out, you find nothing but earth behind it.
Don't suppose one of these just happens to be Golwanda.
Steak picks up, wearing gloves, picks up a just bone arm and just sort of waves it in Costa's direction.
Ugh.
I've got a bone to pick with you.
No. No.
I mean,
Come on.
I mean that was fun, but
No, I mean, I'm just ribbing.
are you angling for 5 puns?
I've gotten 2 so far! Sorry, is that not very humorous at the moment?
What is happening?
Also, that's an arm bone. That joke doesn't work.
I don't know anatomy.
Fair enough.
Okay, what are we doing? If we can't get back here, jokes aren't gonna cut it. Where are we gonna go?
Gary, your sending stone buzzes. You hear, Gary, listen to me. Do not come back this way. I repeat, we just need a couple of more minutes. Do not come back this... And it cuts off.
Everyone hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you all, but I'd rather not spend all of our time in this place of all places.
Do those notes say anything else about how to get around here?
No, but I can probably figure something out.
Griffer's realizing that he doesn't like close spaces like this so much. So he's gonna be pacing.
Costa's gonna basically come over towards Gary and just stand next to him and ask, how are you holding up?
I am currently holding up, and I wasn't before. I don't know, it seems to be a yes or no kind of thing.
Right, and that's the magical influence. How are you holding up, dealing with that?
I wish I knew how to fight it.
You're smart. You'll figure something out, I'm sure.
And yet, as you guys are having that conversation, Gary hears that constant whisper. They're repetitive, conspirative, and more aggressive as you get closer. And right now, what they're saying is, your trouble started when she walked into your life. Reminding you of the timeline and saying, like, she went to Strixhaven and all the trouble started at Strixhaven that same year. Now you're here because of her. Just plural. It's a lot of whispers, but they're saying things like that.
Is this like he has to save, or?
I would like for you to
Okay.
make your first saving throw of the session, yes, to see how you're feeling about mistake currently.
Can I give him advantage with Counsel Charm? As long as I'm playing music, so
I
which
want-
Costa was going to start.
I was gonna say, I think you might even notice that Gary's,
Yeah.
as he's talking to you, he's not all there because he's hearing other voices too, so you can definitely start playing. And
So I have advantage?
yeah, I think
that first one was
definitely.
a 7.
Crush it.
17.
Nice.
Okay,
You get 4 temporary hit points also.
Woo!
Okay, so Costa's actually
Don't
going to
become
play
bad.
something.
sure, definitely.
We're off to adventure and gone underground. And though it is dark, there's still light to be found. Long as we've got me and you, here's something we know is true. You know we've got this, the squad's getting through.
Who knows what good we can do? Who knows what good we can do?
Fuck you, voices in my head. My troubles started when I melted a fucking statue.
Yes.
I think while Koss is playing, Mistake is fairly confident there's nothing in here. So she's sort of gone into the hallway. So she's just sort of running her hands along the wall trying to find anything, and she sort of says a quiet prayer, entirely in Infernal. Very quietly whispers, Glazia, guide me to whatever we need to take from this place. Mephistopheles, guide me to whatever magic we need to survive. Zariel, she kind of chokes on Zariel a little bit because that's King's bloodline, and she takes a deep breath and continues. Zariel, guide me to the strength I need to defeat our enemies. And Disbeta, guide me to the secrets I need to uncover. And that's where she finds the button and realizes it's a button, then remembers the other text that we saw. Cursed be the light, never touch the light, never trust the light is death. And steps to the side and uses her mage hand to press the back of her dagger into the button, just in case.
Yeah. Griff is pacing, has been like watching mistakes. Like, I knew it! It was on a fucking wall! Come on! Gary, come on!
The cloud of dust is released into the air as the door creaks open, and then you hear boom as a bolt sticks into the wall right as the door opened. But at the same time, the ground begins to tremble. And Gary, you hear once more in your sending stone, Gary, this is Lord! Hold, Professor Mirsha Galvan. If you can hear this, you must hide yourself. Quickly, find cover. Things have changed. The And just then and there, the ground erupts at this end of the hallway. Then you see the face of Phoenix looking back at you. Her face is one of shock and concern as she says, "Run, children." And then a crash as around the corner, a boulette comes crashing in. What do you guys do?
I think Mistake unsummons her, because if she gets hit at all, like, that's it.
So she said, "Run, children!" Turned around, ready to basically hold the boulette, and then Mistake
Is just like,
decides no.
not letting you die here.
Phoenix becomes a pile of rocks, thus revealing the boulette, looking right at the four of you.
Mistake's going to use Silent Image to distract Roulette while everyone else gets into here.
Yeah, Koss is not waiting for you to say that.
No,
Koss is
no.
definitely afraid of these things.
So she unsummons Phoenix and at the same time uses Silent Image to put Phoenix's visage. So in theory it looks like she just backed up.
Sure, this thing has a -4 int, so I'm not even gonna have it roll for anything. You guys managed to make it into the room when there's two ballistas there, one of which went off, the other one which appears to be not loaded, and you hear the bullet outside crash into nothing because it went right through the image. However, now it's just an empty hallway.
Can Griff peek his head out? So Griff wants to...
Oh, you...
Griff is gonna peek his head out and cast Mind Sliver.
Before we get into initiative order, Gary's gonna kind of look among the party, look at Koss, and be like, no. Look at Griff and be like, nope, mental health issues, and hand Mistake and a purple, like a bottle with a purple elixir in it, which is an elixir of boldness.
Ooh, that's fun.
What does that do?
Roll a d4 to add to every attack roll and saving throw for the next minute. So I'm gonna keep that handy. Mistake's looking to load up these ballista.
And Koss is continuing to run forward.
Okay. What you see, and I'm just going to explain this before we actually roll into initiative since you're engaging.
Oh.
Whoa.
Right at the entrance, there have been palisades set up to prevent people from coming in who are not wanted. Obviously, this stuff is really, really old, so the wood is rotten and you can just step right over it or even kick it and it'll come apart. The ballistas look in better shape because some of those parts are made of iron. They're just really old and rusty. However, just because you're a lore hold, and this makes sense, Mistake, you realize there's some iron and bronze here. Your history book said that Kolwanda's followers back in the day, they were believed to still use stone tools. Just as a little more flavor of like, this is big, historically. But as you are heading further in, you realize this is more of a base of sorts. There are bedspreads, there are training dummies, neither of which has been used in centuries. As you keep going down the room, you might see a pit at the opposite end where you might not be able to see anything right now because you're way at the opposite end of the room, but you definitely know there's a pit at the end of the room and it reeks of death. A glow at the end of the room because some of you still had your Strixhaven pennants on. There's a glow that ricochets off in one specific corner of the room that's just so bright. Shiny. Golden, colorful.
Reflective, almost.
Yeah.
That's the correct word over ricochet. Light.
Yes.
All right, and so
To coin a phrase.
somebody did Mind Sliver, so we're going to do that and then we're going to go into initiative.
Okay, can I drink this potion?
Oh, yeah. So Mind Sliver.
Mistake's
Yeah,
drinking
so-
this while looking for shit.
Griff is.
Oh wait, I want to tell you what it tastes like. Sorry, Griff. We gotta do this. What does it taste like, though? 88. Tastes like gingerbread.
Oh. Yum. You know what? Ginger is bold.
All right, as people are shuffling in, Mistake's looking to reload the ballista, Koss is panicking, Gary is throwing potions at people, or just Mistake.
Just Mistake.
Griff is by the wall, leaving it a smidge open, casting Mind Sliver at this bullet that is barreling down the hallway.
And he's literally just peeking out and looking at it. That's all he needs to be able to do.
His green irises turn purple as you're doing this.
And just thinks like a brain zap of pain.
And now can we roll initiative, please? We start at the beginning with Koss, how is Koss feeling?
Koss is not doing great. They are going towards like a corner of the room and preparing some magic. They probably get up onto the coffin because they are expecting the bullet to come out from underneath them because that's what they're known for doing.
Sure.
They have a spell like fizzling between their fingers and it's crackling panic energy. Their scythe is still floating next to them. It's not been an hour yet, I think.
Yeah.
Giving the scythe the command to protect them.
Gary is next.
Gary wants to know if bullets can be poisoned.
Ooh, yeah, roll me something.
27.
Because you took Physiology of Magical Beasts last year, you know that unlike other creatures that dwell in the Witherbloom swamps, the bullets are not super magic inclined. They're almost like giant bear moles in their armor, so they're very tough to hit. But as far as poison goes or resistances, anything goes with a bullet. Anything can hurt it. It's just the thick armor that you have to worry about.
So no special weakness, like it's a ground type Pokemon and it's weak against water.
Nope, not like that.
Okay, can I get into line of sight of it?
Probably if you went into the hallway.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is heading towards where it saw Griff.
Can I hide behind Griff and be in line of sight?
I
or
think
no?
so.
So
You jump over the ballistas and the.
yeah,
and the
Gary is
palisades.
kind of tries to jump kind of cool over the ballistas and more like trips and scrambles over them down by Griff. But he's not prone. He's just kind of
Sure.
on the ground.
You mean the
in a
mental health
normal
guy?
way. Mental health guy. So Gary is basically below, like by Griff's knees, and he just kind of leans out to one side with his baster of food poisoning that he squirts in the direction of the bullet.
That's a good.
It takes 3 poison damage, but it is also poisoned until the end of my next turn.
That goes to Grip. The whole party's going before this bullet.
Alright.
Just saying.
Grip is gonna roll Maximilian's Earthen Grasp to try to grab it, bludgeon it, and restrain it.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know.
So the earth below the bullet begins to rise and try to grapple it down to the ground.
Griff uses his dragon scaled hand and points it at the ground. Very much so like what Thorn does. He always thinks of Thorn. Rubble comes up and grabs it in the midsection. I'm going to use 2 sorcery points. So while it's restrained, Firebolt.
Don't worry, Cos. Griff's got this. Alright, that goes to Mistake.
So she's gonna load the ballista,
Okay.
but she's not gonna use it. And then she's gonna go in the hall.
Oh, she runs past Gary and Griff.
Yeah, she loads it, realizes everyone's just fighting this thing in the hall. She's like, I drank this stupid potion.
Think it's stupid?
No.
No, I just think it's stupid with fighting in the hallway. That's a nat 20.
Whoa!
There's our damage.
Oh, okay, so while it's restrained, it is shrieking and the tongue is riding out, and you shoot it and it pierces it right in the tongue so that it's just like, and the fucking arrow's just sticking out of it.
Fuck, dude.
The poor thing is also probably feeling real queasy.
Yeah.
During this whole...
As this happens, the bullet very furiously just like begins to munch down on the ground where it stands. And because it was restrained and prone, it is only going to be able to move so far. But it does disappear into the earth. And it pops out inside the room and sees Cos as the nearest.
Can we get a Cos scream?
Ah! Spell!
You did have something prepared.
That's not 20 on the attack roll. It doesn't do damage.
Well, what does it do?
It's going to make it so that he does half damage on all strength-based attacks.
It's like crawling out of here when it gets hit with a Cos spell. That's all it can do on its turn, so it goes actually back up to Cos.
Cos is going to just yell at it, "Go away!" and cast another spell, just in the whispers. 11 psychic damage, and it needs to use its reaction to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
So it backs up as Cos is saying this. So far back that it almost falls into the pit at the end of the room, and then it like turns and sees Gary and Griff as well in the room.
Cos is going to continue backing up farther away from it.
Makes sense. You're backing up into the treasure corner.
Yep. I think Cos steps on a coin. It's like, oh, cool.
Hey, money.
Gary, you're next.
Gary is going to fling an acid barb at it.
I like that Gary's damage makes people sick. It's poison and it hurts.
It's chemicals.
And it's with food and it's perfect.
Oh, that's not very good. Yeah, Gary flings an acid barb and it lands in the pit behind the bullet, and you can actually just hear it sizzle into the ground. Fuck.
Sorry, old dead people.
As a bonus action, he will make some magic stones.
Great. Griff.
So Griff is gonna run up.
Very, very badass, like jumping over shit and like running up there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he knows that Cos is afraid. He heard the scream. We're all trying to go at him, but everyone's kind of just in the backfield, so Griff kind of feels he has to go up. And Griff is gonna hurl a chromatic orb at him. Fuck, 16.
16 does not hit. Its armor is so tough that it doesn't penetrate it and it doesn't do anything to it.
No, he's just gonna take that on the fucking chin and be pissed about it.
At least you're front and center. If anyone's gonna take damage, it's you.
Great.
Mistake.
Burn, creature. Back at the ballista, she just uses her foot to like shove it, to turn it around,
Beautiful.
and she's gonna use that to fire.
She uses Golwandis' followers' very, very old ballista. Fires into its shoulder blade, so not only does it have a bolt sticking out of its tongue, there's a giant
Oh, I
spear-like
really
bolt.
hope those two things get tangled together.
Now it's really pissed and it's going after the first person it sees, which is Riff, and it barrels onward. It just makes a giant leap across the room, and everybody sees this bullet in the air, like almost in slow motion, crashing down upon Griff. Griff, can you roll either a strength or dexterity saving throw?
14. Hug.
Nope.
It's hugging you the way you hugged Mistake while you were full berserk hug.
As it falls, it crashes on top of you. You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And on top of that, it is scratching and biting and like throws you 5 feet this way, but you are prone, and that's an additional 9. Yeah, no.
I'm fine!
And that is its turn, unfortunately. That was all I could do. Cost, you are next.
What do you mean that was all you could do?
All I could do.
It doesn't
I
have
feel so bad for you.
doesn't have multi-attack. I wish it did.
I'm so sorry. I'm coming for you.
Everybody sees Griff get knocked prone and is bleeding profusely now from 1 attack.
Yeah, that doesn't look good, but I am seeing that the ballista worked, and also it seems to have a tongue piercing.
Yep.
Koss is noticing that mistake seems to be effective here, so they'll yell out, "Mistake, hit it again! Please, thank you!" Koss is going to yell at the boulette. "I'm not entirely sure what you are, if you're a shark or a mole or something. You need to summarize your concept in some bullet points!" And then yell out to their side, "Go help Griff!"
Gary.
Alright, Gary's getting low on, his big magic. He just kind of slingshots a magic stone at it and hopes for the best. 19.
After it had knocked Griff prone, it began turning towards Mistake, giving you a clean shot. Your magic stone hurls across the room and hits it right in the eye, which makes it shriek with pain, and you realize not only is its eye gone now, it's bleeding a lot from the 2 big bolts that are sticking out of its mouth and shoulder blade. It's not looking very good anymore. Griff, I would just like to ask you to roll a wisdom saving throw because you have just been hurt badly. You almost feel the rage taken over. But no, this is just normal rage. This is not the scary rage. This is the rage you get when you lose a competition against Mistake or Rampart. This is not the new rage. All right, go ahead. What were you doing?
Griff wants to get up and he wants to grapple it by grabbing the tongue piercing and jumping onto its back and pulling its tongue up. Like it's riding a horse. 16.
Okay.
Do a bad job!
Oh, that is a 13.
Yes! If this were like a TV show, Griff, and then cut to his feet and he's stomping back like a bull.
Oh no. You're a cat.
Like a kitty.
You're
I'm pouncing. Griff does the butt wiggle. And he runs towards the front of it. It looks at him and goes, "Huh?" And he just lunges forward and grabs the bolt that's through its tongue and swings up on its haunches.
Holding the bolt up, it leaves its neck exposed, thus allowing the next person advantage. Mistake is next. So, can you describe how this happens?
Yeah.
So Griff has this thing grappled, is pulling it up to expose its neck. I'm assuming the underside is less armor, like Armadillo.
Yeah.
Mistake aims this thing and whispers, "I know it's scary and it hurts, but you're not allowed to bolt." I think that's number 5, Alex.
Yep. All right.
And fires. It hits this thing right in the neck and at an angle that it goes down the esophagus almost.
Oh my
Partially.
God, it almost gets gripped.
Yeah. And it comes out the other side. It just sort of stops for a second and then slowly just collapses.
Thumbs up in the air.
Koss is gonna very carefully approach the bullet nervously. After it doesn't move for a bit, Koss is going to kick it
It is
and
dead.
jump back.
Yeah, no, it is completely dead. It doesn't move. And also, when you kick it, it hurts. Can you roll a Constitution saving throw?
Poor.
Your toe cracks. You didn't break it, but you need to sit down for a second.
Limps over to the coffin that they were standing on and just pops to sit. Also, my scythe is gone.
His scythe just drops to the ground. We have a moment of downtime as you just finished fighting this thing. So, once again, just to set the tone here, you find yourselves in what's very clearly a lair. Unlike the outside of the dungeon that was full of traps, this interior is pretty safe, and you can tell people camped out here. Furthermore, at the end of the room is a pit full of skeletons. These skeletons, the remains of them have blue garments, which you would know based on your texts and your studies that Xandril's followers used blue garments, at least like his closest followers, because that was his color. Golwanda's Thunder Riders wore red, hence her crimson glaive.
Are there a variety of skeletons here?
In this pit?
Yeah.
No. In this pit, it's only Xandril followers.
We're very human-like.
Yeah, yeah. There's also 4 coffins and what appears to be a ladder leading down somewhere where there's rubble. And of course, treasure! Lots and lots of treasure, easily thousands here, just in this corner alone. And gems, some of which look very nice and big and would cost well over 100 GP today.
Griff is going to fill his fanny pack.
Okay.
And he's also going to look in all the coffins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mistake's exploring the coffins first. She's very
Yeah, you take
interested in the money because that's gonna
Yeah.
keep her in school, but she's putting that off to explore, to investigate the area more and go, particularly these coffins.
Sure.
It's very interesting to her that they would have this sleeping space and this training space, this protected area with treasure, and then also coffins.
Yeah. So you can roll me an investigation check, please.
Okay.
Koss and Gary, what are you two doing?
I think Gary, he's gonna make his way over to the gold, but like, at this moment is kind of taking a bit of a breather, like, okay, that's been a lot of emotional turmoil. Now they had to fight a big thing. Taking it all in, turns his little spell refueling ring to get back a little bit of that. And yeah.
Okay.
Mistake's coping by staying focused. Gary's coping by taking a moment to himself. Mindfulness practice. You know, one of these people is more well adjusted than the other.
Koss is kind of fascinated by the boulettes now that they're seeing one in person for the first time up close. But they are going to take a second to look back at Gary and ask, can you check in with the professor?
Oh, right. So he'll get the sending stone out and be like, the boulette found us. It's dead now.
Fuck yeah.
What else should I say? I don't know.
How was he? He seemed like he was in trouble.
Are you all in trouble?
Okay. And you send that.
Yeah, and it includes the entire what should I say, but not Koss's response.
Sure,
like, that's
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
Away from it.
Mistake. What did you roll for investigation?
21.
20.
That's without using the inspiration that Koss gave.
Oh, feel free if you want.
So just for kicks, 29.
Didn't quite break 30. Is that good?
Overkill. You know, I don't know. She finds nothing.
There was nothing in here.
So you're looking at these coffins.
You find Strahd.
Hey.
I think just to vary it up a bit, while Koss and Griff are near the treasure, you two find these notes while Mistake is taking a look at the actual coffins. I assume, given how careful Mistake is, that she wouldn't disturb them without first using her eyes.
Yeah, no, she's being very cautious, looking over everything first, trying to discern any writing, any symbols, runes, anything like that on these.
So, before even touching them, you're able to tell that all around the coffin, all around the edge, it's writing. It is the writing that binds a ritual to the object. It is written all over the coffin. And because you have spent months studying this, you know that these coffins are not just graves. They're very special graves that have been cursed.
Definitely getting the sense that these are not the honorifico. They're the castigo.
Yeah.
So shall we read these things for the podcast?
If you would like to, it is entirely up to you.
Just to be clear, these are written in a language that only Mistake and Gary
Correct.
can
So
read.
you actually,
That's
by giving it
correct.
to you guys, it was a moot point because you'd have to share it
They
anyway.
find pieces of paper.
Yeah.
These have squiggles on them.
To read these for the podcast. These take place in the 7th month, which I believe is Tevnember.
Yeah.
I only remember that one because that's when we start school. And this is about a month after the latest of the other ones that we've read. This is not many of us left. Xandril's scum returned, weak and starving. I took pity. Golwanda's priest did not. Castigo for the human scum. The cursed verse he spoke. No rest for the wicked, thou shalt rest when thou art slain. Our hunger is great, but his hatred is worse. And he would aim his hatred at me, I fear. Then 2 days later, I killed him. It was that or death. I'm the only one left on Golwanda's side, with one Xandril scum left, coward. May he never reach me. May he rot in his terrain. 4 days later, has been quiet for days, isolated. No sounds but the critters and the voices in my head. No escape for me. I do not know the ways of the mana. Golwanda's priest knew little, but he was powerless against the great beast of the skies. Cursed be the beast, for he has dug our grave and left us to rot. Weeks of labor prove through this. No amount of digging will help now. This is our grave, my grave, shared with the hateful human scum. Golwanda, can thou hear me? Has the earth silenced you for all eternity? Never touch the light. Never trust the light. The light means death. Yet if the light were here, I would surrender to the touch. Death is the only escape.
And you find those notes near this last skeleton that appears to be Jay chillin' near this treasure, alone and forgotten, without a grave.
So I'm guessing that those coffins are not a happy story then, based on that?
No, definitely don't want to touch them. If you do, potentially could trigger the mummy to wake up, at which point, well, it can't die unless its organs are destroyed, and its organs were removed and placed into ritual jars somewhere. So, if we find the ritual jars, destroy those and no more mummies.
So don't open it.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't actually know what will trigger them to wake up. It really depends on the ritual that was, done at the time. So I have no idea.
So they could wake up anyways.
Yep, it's entirely possible, taking this gold, going down this spooky ladder, saying cheese ball, I don't know.
Golwanda, has the earth silenced you? That implies that she's further down, like down this ladder here.
It's possible, and also said no amount of digging will let me escape here. But down the spooky ladder is really the only place we can go from here.
Anybody wanna give your friend a band-aid or maybe
yeah.
something a little better?
Griff is bleeding
So
badly.
Gary hands you what looks like an empty bottle that you have to uncork.
This looks like an empty bottle I have to uncork.
Does it say "fuck 'em" when he opens it?
It does.
Gary, also, after you hand this bottle to Griff, your sending stone buzzes, and you hear, Gary, I am okay. I'm in a town square. What's left of it. Whole city down here. But listen, be wary of the silver troves. And then it cuts off.
Can you finish what you said?
He responds, be wary of the silver troves. Something doesn't feel right. I saw them whispering mysteriously. I teach courses on lip reading. Gary, something doesn't feel right. Gary?
I don't know why he felt the need to say my name multiple times.
I think he's probably counting on his fingers. Well, I can maybe ask the silver troves what's going on when we find them again. In the meantime, I'd say let's all scoop up some tuition and then keep going.
I'm not against scooping up tuition. And Gary just grabs like a handful of gold and shoves it into his pockets.
Mistake it at some point, it's like, holding a handful of gold coins and like a gem that's roughly the same size, and asks Gary, which is more effective?
Like cost to
Does-
weight effective?
Or size? Your pockets are only so big.
I have no idea.
One.
Yeah, you might even find some gems here that are extremely rare or have never been seen before. Like, this is a big discovery.
Yeah, Gary at least finds a pearl and
Sure.
he pulls out this thing that like looks like a magnifying glass with like a little feather in it, and there's like a spot for a pearl to go in, and he just kind of puts it in that.
As you guys are catching your breath, settling in,
Eating some trail mix.
eating some trail mix,
Gorp.
the earth beneath this room here, you hear it sinking as if somebody was digging from below, but it's not at a bullet level. You just hear and Vonkar and Vistra, the silver troves emerge out of the room with the ballistas.
Mistake just instinctually pulls the hood up on the elven cloak and kind of ducks to the side to try and just eavesdrop on whatever they're saying without them knowing she's there, but she doesn't entirely communicate this to everyone else. So, everyone else can do what they want, but that's what Mistake's doing.
You hear Vistra's voice just being like, is anyone there? Students?
Koss is going to take a second while they're around the corner to cast Detect Thoughts on himself to get that ready, and then step around the corner and say, "Hey, Vonkar, Vistra."
You step out, okay.
Kos steps around the corner, backlit by the dead Boulette.
Yeah, the silver troves can see the dead bullet behind Koss.
Gary will come with Koss.
Okay, so Koss and Gary emerge while Griff and Mistake are hidden in that
Griff is
corner.
just taking a minute.
Sure.
Mental health.
Oh, he got beat up.
Vistra speaks first because Vonkar doesn't speak much. She says, "Oh shit, you killed it."
Was that bad?
No, it's fine. It's a young one, which means if it's young, they might
There's
have relatives.
Oh.
How are y'all? Y'all good?
We're doing okay. It wasn't as bad as I expected.
We tried our best to lure it away. These things have a mind of their own. They're
Where's Professor Galvan?
oh, just he fell through a ditch.
Got some Detect Thoughts up going up on them. Do I actually get anything from their surface thoughts?
When Gary asks where's Professor Galvan, you detect some hesitancy. However, she says basically what is on her mind, which is he fell through a ditch. Listen, we got paid to protect 4 Strixhaven students. We are here protecting 4 Strixhaven students. And as you're reading her mind, this is true. Everything she's saying is genuine.
Can I use my natural insight as well?
Yeah.
And my non-magical insight? 25.
Oh, okay.
Is that good?
It's no 29.
You are sensing that she's not telling you everything. That perhaps she's almost pleased that the professor's no longer here as she helps her way in. So what do we find?
Mistake's thinking, maybe we should hide the gold from them. I think minor illusion might be too small.
Yeah, I believe so.
Can we move the coffins over to it?
They're already coming in.
They are.
Yeah.
They haven't seen this corner yet, but they
Yeah.
are walking in.
Is there like a tarp or anything around here? Big old blanket, something I can throw over it?
I think Griff is gonna take off all his clothes. And Griff is gonna stand out there naked. And I think it's gonna make all of them uncomfortable.
Oh my god.
Would that work?
Oh my god.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So Rick strips,
Yeah, so alright.
and
so,
Mistake's the only one who sees him doing this. Is just trying to figure out what the fuck he's doing.
I got this.
Checking for purple?
It's extremely quick because it's a tracksuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah. You
Griff.
snap on everything.
Alright, so he's gonna be down to his boxers. He's gonna take everything off and throw his clothes onto the gold as best he can. And I think he's gonna look beat up and angry so that people kind of like, oh, we're gonna stay away from him, is the idea in his mind. So he's just gonna sit here really angry in his boxers.
While Mistake is forming like a barricade to like hide the fact that there's a ton of gold there that I'm assuming we can't fit all of this into our pockets right now.
No, but
Yeah.
you do have a professor with a handy haversack who is somewhere lost.
Somewhere.
And so Griff's idea is just to be a deterrent.
Yep.
Yup. Vistra definitely like hears turns just like, oh shit, what are y'all doing down here?
Took a lot to kill it.
It's a goddamn dungeon crawl, not a frat party. Get dressed.
Pub crawl.
And she's gonna like walk over here and explore over here, turning her back to that corner.
He's gonna just stay there.
Been a lot of, I guess, dead things, mostly. And one live thing that is now dead.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, I think. Anyway, y'all professors, I don't know where the hell he is, but
I
we
thought
should
you
probably...
said that he fell into a ditch.
Exactly.
So where's the ditch?
Do you want to go look for it, or do you want to get to the bottom of this?
I mean, I think that we'd like to find the professor.
I thought we were here to do a mission. Thought we were here to discover some shit. We were paid to protect all of you, not to look after some tenured professor.
He's the one who's paying you, right?
Well, actually, we're being paid through his trust, so whether he survives or not, I'm here to do my job. Gary, your ascending stone buzzes again. And it says, I'm making my way to you. For the record, Bunker's lips said, what should we do about the professor? Could mean anything, just be wary.
Everyone's back together again.
Huh?
This is to the sending stone, like.
You're trying to do it sneakily?
He's trying to subtly tell Galvan, like, hey, Vonkar and Vistra are here.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he says everyone's back together again.
Okay, so through gritted teeth and sort of away from the dwarves, you say, go on.
Everyone's back together again. Get here quickly? Assuming you know where here is. I don't think Gary really knows how to describe it. It's just like, went in a spiral and now we're in the middle.
Yeah,
Sort of a death maze.
it's a fairly straight line, and he knows which direction we went in. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's reasonable he could find his way here.
Okay, yeah, you send that. No immediate response.
Well, I do think that we should stop and double back for the professor at some point.
Gary's gonna kind of like edge up to Koss, but try to say this so that the Silver Tropes can't hear. And it's like, he says he's on his way to us.
Let's keep going for now.
What's down there?
Yeah, we'd like your help to find out.
Well, we're almost out of mana. But
Mana?
we're almost out of juice. So we can either go a little bit further down or come back another day. We leave now and come back tomorrow or something.
Just to be clear, is that like spell slots?
Yes.
Okay.
If we're getting
Is that
metagamey
from
here.
hold on, is that from a different school? Because at Strixhaven we call them spell slots.
Someone has juice.
Well, in Arcavios as a whole, we call it mana. Okay, I don't know what you in that preppy school are learning, but out here in the real world, we don't use slots, okay? We use a certain amount of magical mana we can use per day. Anyway, let's take a look. Now, I do want to say they might catch a glimpse. I'm trying
Of
to...
my delicious thighs.
Well, the snake's been like trying to like cover
Sure,
it.
sure.
And there's tons of shit around here, so I figure she can like put up enough of a barricade, especially because they're dwarves.
Yeah.
You know, they
I'm
don't
gonna-
have a high vantage.
I'm gonna roll wisdom saving throws for both of them, and if one of them rolls really high, they're gonna be too curious. That's Vistra. We rolled in that one. She immediately starts looking down this thing. Her
They're all
silent,
curious about Griff's thighs.
the silent brother, on the other hand, I just rolled in that one and in that 20. The brother, who rarely speaks, begins to turn and notices Mistake covering something up last minute, something glistening. And of course, he sees this underneath Griff's thighs.
His meaty thigh.
Can he make a wisdom saving throw?
He did just now.
Can he make another one?
Are you casting silvery
Yes.
barbs?
I'm casting suggestion. Because Koss is just going to say,
Shouldn't you follow her?
That's a 3.
alright, that fails.
Oh,
Nice.
Holy shit.
he saw the glistening thing, and then Koss said, "Shouldn't you follow her?" And he just jump, 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 yes,
That
jump.
might be the most important fucking roll of the night.
And they head down this ladder
This
together.
wouldn't have helped against a nat 20.
Yeah.
Nice job.
They head down this ladder to an open storage room of sorts that has been not caved in, mind you, and you guys could see this from up here even. Unlike the rest of the ruins that look like whatever magic buried it was powerful, aka Galazeth Prismari, burying an entire group of people down here, what's down here in this room looks like it was done by hand. Like people accumulated rubble and stacked it to purposefully block that entrance. So then both dwarves are like, oh, this shouldn't take too long. Okay, hey, we're gonna get started down here, okay? I guess we'll let you know when we're done. Anything you find, remember, we're sharing it. Okay?
Okay.
And both of them get to moving rubble. I think they will, for the most part, use their physical prowess as opposed to magic because this is an easier thing to do. So every now and then they'll just huck stones up here, big ones, as you guys have a moment to debrief without their eavesdropping.
Cuss will go over towards the remaining pile of money and just kind of like look at everybody and say,
I know that we've just tried to hide this from them pretty hard, but can I give them a share?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it seems like they're up to something sketchy, but nothing's proven yet, and it's not really like we can bring all this with us.
Okay, cool. I kind of need them to trust me.
That's fair.
I'm gonna put my pants back on.
Yeah, do
Please,
that, please.
please do. Yes.
I thought it was a good idea.
It was good. It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
I think that first one really liked my thighs. Just putting that out there.
Well,
All right.
maybe you're just a sight for sore thighs.
Oh my god, you guys. I'm putting you all in this corner because that's where presumably you are.
oh, I thought you were going to be like, because you're in timeout.
That's what you are.
You're in timeout. Grown or
Another
foul.
bullet comes out. You're dead.
Gary, you start hearing whispers again.
No, I don't. I'm using the Tyler strategy here. No, I don't.
No, you do. No, you do. And this time, the whispers are saying, brother, my brother, I'm sorry. And you start hearing scratches on wood. The tiefling is the enemy. The non-human scum is the enemy. They did this to us. They will do it to you. Help us. Help us. And roll a wisdom saving throw, please.
16.
Oh, screw you. The DC was 15. No, you are still yourself. You are strong-willed as hell. But the scratching on wood remains.
Can anybody else hear that?
The rocks?
The scratching on the wood?
And behind Gary, all of you see a hand erupt out of this here coffin.
Yep, Mistake gets ready to shoot it.
A pair of hands erupts out of one coffin and then breaks the wood apart as a mummy sits up and stares at all of you. This thing has been wrapped in not just linen, but curtains, bed sheets. This is why Mistake couldn't really find that much cloth around here, because they used what they had. So the mummies are made up of whatever was around this abandoned church at the time. Furthermore, a second mummy follows.
Alright, so we need to find all organs in jars, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The two dwarves are deep in this pit. They might hear it, they might not. Who knows if they care. And can you all please roll initiative again? Griff goes first.
Griff is gonna try something different, and he's gonna take out his glaive. He's gonna run up and stab him in the grave.
Okay.
Yeah?
Glaive to the grave.
Yeah, glaive to the grave.
Yeah, you pierce it, but it doesn't seem phased by the glaive. The flesh squelches, dried up blood might squirt out, but the body's been treated and mummified, so it doesn't have much of it left.
His
But
body's further away.
it just grabs onto the glaive and right at you. But Gary hears once more. You keep hearing those whispers like, I'm sorry. They're making us do this. Mistake.
I'm gonna do a thing that I haven't gotten to do yet.
Oh?
I'm going to use Green Flame Blade.
Ooh.
So Mistake takes out the rapier, sees them right next to each other, and is kind of excited because she learned how to do this and hasn't been able to do it because there are never two enemies right next to each other. Mm-hmm. She slips between Koss and Gary, hops over the skeleton, and her rapier ignites in this green magical flame as she comes over to stab a motherfucker. It's probably gonna miss because that seems appropriate. Yeah, that seems fine.
Oh wow. That's very appropriate.
So yeah, she gets really excited to do this, but when she hopped over the skeleton, she kind of trips and then just stabs the empty coffin instead, and is just very disappointed with herself.
Koss, you're next.
If their brains are one of the organs, can I use detect thoughts to find their brains? Koss is going to start looking around using detect thoughts to try to detect thinking sentient beings
Okay.
within 30 feet of me,
Okay.
and they're going to walk the length of the room to try to find them.
So as this is all happening, Koss is running around trying to detect where these organs might be, or specifically where these brains, and your senses tingle, alright? The mummies are next. However, what you see, they both sit up, and they stand up, crawl out of their graves. Griff and Mistake are right in front of them, having just attacked them.
Don't like that.
One of them more effectively than the other.
And they just... They push right by Griff, right by Mistake, and both of them are looking right at Gary.
Oh.
They don't give a shit about the two people that just attacked them. They are here for this guy. Good luck.
Oh no.
So the first mummy just goes in. They both are either hitting you or scratching at your robes. Now, additionally, can you roll a Constitution saving throw? As these claws tear into you, you feel that something else.
That's a 2 minus 1, it's a 1.
You feel that something else is stinging you with every scratch. Like this is not just an injury. There's something else there that you're gonna have to deal with later. And you are next.
Fuck!
Well, Gary was going to cast Detect Magic and try to find the fucking jars, but he only has so many spell slots left, so instead he's going to upcast Healing Word. Says fuck 'em.
Yeah.
That is technically a bonus action, so given that Gary is legitimately not helpful in close proximity situations, like everything he does is ranged, he's gonna whack him with a hammer.
Bonk in the head. Go away.
And this is not a war hammer, this is like a tools
thank you.
hammer. That's the best he can do.
So the rest of you witness this happening. For some reason, for whatever reason, these mummies are only targeting Gary.
I'm just gonna stab him.
All right.
Aggressive dice.
Laugh dice.
You stab it, and it definitely does slow it down. Once again, you get the sense that when you're hurting it, it is not feeling any pain whatsoever. That doesn't mean you're not slowing it down, because its body is getting torn apart, and it is a very squishy mummy. It can't feel pain.
Graves just like, what the fuck?
Mistake, you are next.
I'm gonna try Green Flame Blade again. Alright, this is where it's fun.
You stab the first one.
So it's a green flame, and it leaps from the target to a different creature of my choice that is within 5 feet of it. So as number 1 erupts in this green flame, flames leap over to number 2 and catch that one on fire as well.
Which looks badass, but the mummies don't even turn around. They are still looking forward as Mistake is doing this.
Feels very accomplished for finally using Green Flame Blade. She's been wanting to use it ever since she learned how to do it.
And Koss is next.
So, Koss's detect thoughts Are they detecting a mind within the frame of the mummies?
No.
Okay,
I
so
don't
they're
think
going
so.
to try something here. They are going to cast hypnotic patterns centered around the place where they are sensing the minds. Right here, around the dummies. They both need to make wisdom saving throws.
Because you're targeting these dummies, at the same time, the other two coffins erupt as the remaining two mummies sit up, and they also turn to their right, and Gary can hear them say, "Brother, sorry, they made us do this." And then Cos does their thing. Now, each one, so 4 saving throws, huh?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Hey!
Okay. On a failed save,
Shit!
creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0.
Time freezes in this combat as the 4 mummies just freeze in place and cannot move. But Cos knows this is not gonna last.
Causes pattern is a giant swirling target, and flashing above it are the words Griff, Fireball, Griff, Fireball, Griff, Fireball. Right here on the dummies.
Oh, so fireball the dummies.
Yes, exactly.
With an arrow pointing at the dummies, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Griff,
Blow them up?
fireball.
Yeah, because that they haven't actually said this, but that's where they detected some of the organs are.
Alright, so technically it's Gary first, then Griff.
Gary disengages and gets the fuck out of the way, kind of backing himself into a corner, but since he sees the giant Griff fireball, like, target, he's like, I'm not gonna head in that direction.
Sure.
Also, the fuck happened to my arm? Can I, like, investigate, arcana check?
Oh
like-
yeah, if you want to do that on your turn, either one, you choose.
Arcana it is. 22.
Oh yeah. Even though it's only been a few seconds, you're already seeing your wound. Normally, when you get a wound, you would immediately want to do something to stop the bleeding. The problem is, your wound is not bleeding. It has immediately cauterized, and it's turning green, purple, brown. The rot is now on you, and no healing word is going to cure this, and you know this. This is a curse. Griff is next.
I guess Fireball is the only thing that could hit the 2 targets unless I twin a spell.
We could also it's a brain jar, presumably. So, you know,
Yeah, we probably could just stab it.
It's
This
like
is
this
it right
is your
here.
chance to do a big move. But if you're concerned about conservation of spell slots,
Cost
the
is
brain
doing
jar.
this specifically to give Griff catharsis, but if Griff chooses to show restraint, they will not complain.
Yes.
Griff is gonna twin. Griff is gonna twin Chromatic Orb and hit both of those. So he will take out his ring. He takes the glaive and he puts the butt of the glaive into his shoulder like a gun. And just goes bang!
The chromatic orb shoots
The
out of your
chromatic
ring, splits with the glaive.
Don't miss the stationary objects, Griff.
That's a nat 1.
Oh my god.
Griff, how did you miss?
Oh no!
That 2.
This is why you should have rolled a fireball. They can't roll saving throws. You twin the spell. Your chromatic orb just split. But they blow up the heads of the dummies, releasing a pile of hay. Not jars or brain juices. Mistake. They are paralyzed for now.
Six gonna clarify with cost. This only lasts so long, right?
Yep.
What are the odds that destroying any part of them will wake them up?
Pretty good.
Alright, can we use this minute to find all the organ jars? Like just all of them so we can just destroy them all at once and Gary doesn't get hurt anymore?
Yeah, let's make sure that we got them all.
Great.
Griff is so. I am so pissed off.
You rolled a 1 and a 2. That is really
Griff
bad.
still over here? Did he move?
He didn't move. He's
No, he
he's
twinned it
standing
from there.
there, fucking besides himself, angry.
You know what? I'm gonna allow this. Roll a wisdom saving throw to see what happens. Oh.
That's a 13.
That would fail.
Good.
As Mistake says,
Let's just find all of them before the minute's up, destroy all of them at once, and we don't have to worry about it anymore.
I picture Mistake, Cos, and Gary rushing to the dummies, past the immobile mummies, as Griff is standing there really fucking heated.
Seething.
And no one's noticing his eyes have turned purple, as is his claws. if we're doing this, we're gonna start at the top of the initiative again, and it's Griff.
Did I have any time to like do
Yeah,
an
did you get any
investigation
chance
or like
search?
anything to find?
I was just gonna not have you guys roll, and like
It
you guys.
literally is just the dummies.
Cost figured out this is where the organs are.
Well, we
So
found out
that's
that was where
all-
the brains were, so it was just
Yeah.
making sure that that's all the organs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
in
you
that
start
case, we
breaking
just
through them,
destroy
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Griff, you have to attack the nearest thing to you, which at this point is the mummy.
+6.
Oh, now
Now it's
you
a
roll
nat
double
20.
damage, please. It's actually kind of funny.
It's a D6
Everybody's rushing in
less.
to handle it the smart way. Griff is tearing this
5.
thing apart. How do you do this? For number one.
Griff goes over to the mummy, puts his non-dragon scaled hand on one shoulder, his dragon scaled hand on top of its head, and just rips off the head.
Oh,
Because it's really weak and squishy,
sure.
right? He's poked around at it enough to recognize that you can do that.
The rest of you
It's a
hear
twist top.
the rest of you hear a growl followed by a squelching noise of the muscles rip apart as he decapitates this mummy, not with a blade but with his claws. And I think you all notice Griff is berserk right now. The three of you can roll to whack some organs, please.
I would like to back up from the organs to hit them with stones.
Hell yeah. Koss and Gary begin hitting this dummy here. Liquid begins to pour out as you hear a squelching like, and every time you pierced it, there's embalming fluid leaking out of this dummy. Yeah. As you do this, this mummy in front of Griff lights on fire and just begins to turn into a pile of ash. But Griff doesn't face him. He's still going for the next mummy. And then Mistake attacks the other one just by slashing across the dummy's belly. You realize as it spills out, there are 2 sets of organs per dummy. A couple of them have been exposed. You manage to down this guy over here who had just crawled out of its grave and then just immediately fell back down.
Mistake's slightly concerned about Griff. It knows Gary's been hit. So she's going to scoot over here, get between Gary and Griff,
The mummies, they are currently inanimate, which means it's Griff's.
which means you attack.
So 12 +6 to...
Hell yeah.
So we rip off heads. Let's rip out guts. So another
It
hand
has no guts. All
Yeah,
its
they-
organs have been removed.
even
Rip
better.
out its spine.
Goes in, looks for guts, finds spine, and pulls head through chest where stomach should be out of not belly button.
For the microphone, Tyler's doing this to me physically.
With-
He's putting his hands
Yeah,
here.
we're watching a live
He's
Mortal
having
Kombat
a visual demonstration here, and I'm a little unnerved by it.
Alex's
It's a
spine is all
visceral
over the
demonstration.
table.
Yeah, the rest of you realize that Griff is doing some brutal shit to this inanimate mummy that is
Mistake
not moving.
recognizes the purple
Yep.
and is making sure he doesn't attack Gary.
Koss and Gary, what are you two doing?
Smashing organs?
Yep,
Smashing
smashing
organs.
organs.
Alright.
Does a 10 hit?
Sure, we're gonna say yes.
Okay.
And it's made out of rags and hay and wood. So, but not one.
Gary misses the training dummies, and the magic stone bounces off the wall and like bops him in the forehead. Not for like damage, just for humiliation.
I love it.
Embarrassment.
Yeah.
7 damage?
The second mummy that Griff was tearing apart. Gone.
Uh-oh.
That's a problem.
Yep.
Tyler just turned his mini to face all of us.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Mistake would be next.
Mistake's going to fire an arrow at, ideally, a dummy that has organs and is within 5 feet of Koss.
I'm a dummy.
You're not within 5 feet of Koss.
Going to steady aim at the one that has organs in it. 19 plus 7.
Hell yeah, that'll hit.
And that is 15 damage.
Fine.
I'm trying to justify how this looks since there are multiple organs.
It's like the magic bullet.
Boom, 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 ricocheting.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Its
collapses.
belly just like opens up and a bunch of jars just spill out and onto the ground. And that's enough damage to down the last mummy, leaving all of you behind with just your basically feral friend, who does get one action now.
Mistake puts her bow away and just faces Griff.
Griff's gonna do probably his least violent action. I'm just gonna throw a dagger at you. As soon as he sees movement that is not the mummy's, he just instinctively grabs the dagger that he's always had. It's just never used at mistake. That's a nat 20. Plus
Whoa! Shit, man.
Silvery barbs.
Yeah! Griff fearfully throws a dagger and in the air as it's speeding.
No!
Go ahead. Roll.
That's an 11 plus 6.
Oh, at least it's
16
not crit.
Yeah, 16 is my armor.
4 points of damage.
Yeah.
A dagger comes hurling at the stake.
On top of that, I'm going to uncanny dodge to reduce that by half. It just, leaves a little cut across her cheek.
Koss would go next.
Koss is going to run up to in front of Mistake, brandishing a scroll, and cast Calm Emotions on Griff.
Koss whips out the scroll that Dean Shale Talonbrook provided them and begins reading off of it.
Griff, we're your friends. You're better than this.
Okay.
There's a part of me that's like wants to toss in. You're a good cat.
Hits it!
No.
Hits it! No! It's not one! So I fail.
His emotions
I'm
calm,
calm.
but now he's just kind of
Irritable.
irritating. Like, oh my god.
I care about you too, guys. Why are we talking about it?
And so Griff's eyes begin to dim back to their usual green state. His scales stop glowing purple and go back to being golden. But they still have the purple lining, meaning he can have an outburst at any time. But for now, you are yourself again. And you see that at your feet you have 2 mummies that have been torn to shreds because of you.
Burst into ash, I believe, also.
And burst into ash as well.
Did I do that?
You did the first step.
Mistake will walk over and hand you your dagger.
He looks at Mistake and then looks at Mistake's face and... Did I do that?
You mostly missed.
Sorry. Grabs the knife and puts
I think while everybody's distracted, Gary gets just like a bandage or something and wraps his cursed arm. Because he doesn't want anybody else to know.
Oh,
that
you're
this
keeping it
has happened.
secret.
At least for now. I
Uh-huh.
mean, he doesn't know what it's gonna do.
Oh yeah.
It could be fine. It could be great for us.
He's just like, nobody here is necessarily gonna be any more helpful with this than he is, because it's not like anyone else is an alchemist.
Yeah.
He's just like, I guess I'll deal with this when I can talk to Varelda Lang, or hopefully somebody sooner than that, because that's not for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Right around then, the silver troves emerge. And they're like, what the fuck was that all about?
A lot of help you were.
You woke up the mummies.
What?
The mummies? The Castigo.
We were down there.
Yeah, and that was the trigger.
Well, thanks then. Got a passage down there. We coming or what?
We're coming.
Alright.
Before we head down, and Koss is going to hand them both.
Crick wants to stop you from doing that because fuck those guys. They didn't help us. Griff wants to interrupt that.
How are you interrupting it?
I think he sees you grabbing it.
Now, oh no, Mistake covered the gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like Koss just has like a bag of
Sure,
gold
yeah.
to share with them. So it's not like we're showing them the entire hoard, we're giving them a share, not necessarily
Okay.
an equal
Okay.
share.
What's that?
It's some of the treasure that we found. Equal shares, remember?
Mistake grabs a bag of equal size and kind of gives it a shake.
Okay. Yeah, no, they reach for it.
They'll get it.
It's Griff pissed.
Griff takes note. Griff is territorial of it. He's looking for times to be irritable. And this is a great thing to be irritable about.
Sure.
And if he's purple, he needs to be irritable.
You hand them a bag each.
Yep.
They take them, look inside, wicked smile on their faces, and Vistra says, well, thanks. Hope none of y'all got hurt or clawed by these things. Nasty shit can happen if that goes down.
Do you know what happens?
I mean, it's cursed rotten flesh. Makes contact with you. If your body doesn't resist it, your own body starts to rot. But it looks like y'all are safe. So, after use.
Okay.
Griff takes up the rear. Head down, yeah.
You try to take up the rear?
Yeah.
There might be more bullets coming. Kitty cat, you might want to head down first. We'll take the rear.
I will remind you we killed the last one.
And we've handled plenty in our lifetime.
Right, but Griff single-handedly grappled this one and held it in place. I don't doubt your expertise, but personally, I know Griff better. I've seen him in action.
Okay. We'll go. Sure, they go. And they'll let Mistaken Griff take up the rear. Which means, I presume, Klaus and Gary are front.
Yeah.
Who called me kitty cat?
It was the girl. It was Vistra. Vankar doesn't talk much.
Just
You've
making sure.
noticed.
Just making sure.
Who's on his shit list?
And so you head down. You see that the Silver Troves have set aside the rubble, leading to this hallway. And the funny thing is that as you're heading down this hallway, there's a light that is glowing at the very end of it. Klaus and Gary are at the front. Are you guys talking about anything, or is everything quiet?
Gary is definitely not trying to make conversation. Gary, is he still hearing voices in his head? Because that was a question of whether they were silenced when the mummies died.
I want to say that you are hearing voices in your head still, but because you're already going through something, I'm not going to make you roll.
Fair enough. For now.
But you realize that your wound on your arm is spreading.
Great.
You're feeling numb, which, sorry to say that you might have some first-hand experience on that, but your hand has gone completely numb and it's spreading up your arm.
Wow, it feels like a chronic nerve injury.
To be metagamey, you cannot regain hit points, and every 24 hours that passes, your maximum hit points decrease.
Fuck. Like permanently decrease?
Until the curse is removed.
Okay.
I'm curious if any of the healing stuff Mistake has might be helpful.
Don't know, Gary hasn't
What
told you
healing
about
stuff do
it,
you
so...
I feel like Mistake might know that he got hit
That's
because she
fair.
was right there, but
So was
yeah,
Griff, but he went through some shit, so you might not remember.
But with this stuff, with this 2 silver troves and all that, Mistake's not pressing it at the moment.
Yeah.
But she might know, and she has healing stuff from overseas as like potential Eldritch Bomb replacements.
Gotcha.
So it's Klaus and Gary at the front, the 2 silver tropes in the middle, Mistaken Griff in the back. However, the 2 dwarves, when they see the light, they're like, oh shit. Wait, hang on, wait.
Yeah,
and
there's a snarl down here, be careful.
they stop in their tracks just as they went like past Klaus and Gary. They turn around. There's a what?
Snarl, pretty sure all of the everything that we've read so far indicates don't go to the light is death, go to be the light, and so on.
They start to back up. So they had gone past Klaus and Gary, now they're backing up again. With a look of concern on both their faces, they look at each other and then back onward. And they just wait there.
It's not like it's going to move. Just don't get close to it.
Besides, we're getting closer, not too close. And you're here to protect us, right?
Fuck. Okay.
Do you have history with snarls?
Yeah. So go on. We got your back.
Any chance you can elaborate on that, or is that just a dead end?
Look, the sooner we get out of here, the better, okay? So just do what you have to do here, and then we can go back up.
Okay. Keep on going then.
Mistake's key concern here is that these silver troves are our way out, potentially. So she's keeping a close eye on them, making sure they don't be like, well, we got our money, bye.
That's his grip.
Okay. Causing Gary, you were already at the front. You keep going, and you find that you're literally around the corner of the grand room of the temple. However, mistaken Griff, you stayed behind. Or at least, you were keeping an eye out on the silver troves. And as you turn, onward towards your friends, you hear Vistra say, "You seeing this? Then you best hurry up and get down here."
Who are you talking to?
She snaps out of it. And then just gives you a smile. Behind them, a portal opens. And I want to say, Causing Gary, you hadn't even made it to the Grand Chamber. You knew it was there, you caught a peek of it, but your attention is caught, and behind the dwarves, this tunnel has opened up, or this portal. Griff and Gary recognize it right away because this is the same exact type of portal that Dean Zamone opened for your class, that she's teaching you how to do. But there's no Dean Zamone in sight, no. The first person that steps through has a pair of black boots. And there's an inkling wrapping around his leg.
Motherfucker.
As he says, Oh, honey. Is there shit in my eyes, or is that Griffin fucking Birmingham? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again this week. This episode was recorded in Watertown, Massachusetts, also known as the traditional land of the Pecosset and Nanantum peoples. I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of the talented musicians that helped bring this podcast to life with their amazing music. We've provided a link to their web pages in the description. I would also like to thank our talented players, Tyler Rubin, Rin Garnett, Michael Yang, and Nikki Aguilar-Thompson. This story would not be the same without their wonderful creativity. I've been your host and DM, Alex Aguilar-Thompson, and I hope to see you here again next week for another episode of Roleplay Radio. Is there shit in my eyes, or is that Griffin fucking Birmingham?
What? Is there a counter?
Portal.
A couple of other people step through.
I'll counterspell it.
Oh, you bitch!
Yeah.
Fucking do it! Fucking counterspell the fucking portal! That's a great idea! I want to do that!
Yes.
Bang, 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 bang!
Okay. You cast Counterspell, but I did manage to say a couple of people stepped through. And
They are severed in half.
no. Behind the two silver troves, you see Fane the Broker, the Inkling that used to belong to Gary and now belongs to Fane, two figures behind them, and a bat that flaps to the corner of the room.
Oh, those motherfuckers came out?
Yeah, no.
Then what's the point of me even using counterspell? But a whole army came out.
They had several other people with them, but only these handful managed to make it in. But I think that this might be a good place to end for tonight.
So what is it? It's Fane and a bat.
Fane and the Inkling, a bat, a very fancy looking fella that you all recognize as the owner of the Mermaid's Tail.
Is that anyone Mistake knows, or just, another fancy?
Just a fancy human. I did mention last session that he had white hair like Gary's, but other than that, he just looks like a rich, noble human. And one last figure that is completely veiled, has some potion bottles tied to their belt, but is otherwise completely veiled like a bandit almost.
Like Dean Cayenne doesn't want us to know it's her.
And that's where we're gonna end today.
Tell her a bad joke, see if she likes it. Oh, sorry, them. Tell them a bad joke, because we don't know who they are.
Yes.
I'm really sad I missed Alex's face when you said that.
I've said nothing.
Spoken words.
We will pick up here next session.